It started with a simple idea, a camping trip to relive the good old days. Just me, Darren, and Chris, three childhood friends from Knoxville, Tennessee, now scattered across different cities. We picked a remote stretch of the Appalachian wilderness, far from cell towers and tourist trails. The place had no name on the map, but Darren remembered it from his uncle's stories. "No one's out here this time of year," he grinned. "Perfect for us." The first night was uneventful. Stars overhead, beers around the fire, old stories about high school girls and near drownings. But even then, I felt it, like eyes from the tree line. You know that feeling when your instincts scream that something's watching, but logic says you're alone? The second day, we hiked deeper, found an abandoned ranger shack boarded up and rotting. On one wall inside was a faded map. Someone had circled our campsite in red. That wasn't the worst part. Below the circle, in shaky block letters, was written, "Stay out. It remembers." "Probably some prank," Chris muttered, but his voice wavered. That night, the woods changed. It wasn't just silent. It was too silent. No crickets, no owls, no wind. And then came the scratching. Not loud, not violent, just slow, deliberate fingernail scraping on the outside of my tent. I called out. No answer. When I unzipped the flap, nothing was there, but a pine branch had been bent into a crude symbol, like a triangle with a slash through it. Chris said he'd seen the same thing carved into a tree by the trail. Darren was pale. My uncle used to tell me stories about a group that lived out here in the 60s, not hippies, something older. They did rituals. We laughed it off until the next morning when we found Darren's boots filled with blood, and he hadn't noticed anything during the night. No cuts, no injuries, just blood. We tried to leave. Our compass spun wildly. GPS gave up. The trail kept looping us back, and that's when we found her. A woman, no, a girl, stood barefoot in the middle of the trail. Her hair was wet, her eyes dark as coal. "You came back," she said to Darren. He collapsed, literally dropped, started muttering, "We were kids. We didn't know." Chris and I dragged him back to camp. His fever spiked. He kept repeating a name, Leela, and slowly it clicked. There was a Layla, a neighbor girl when we were 10. She went missing in this same woods during a game of hide and seek. The case was sealed. No one talked about it again, not even us. But something remembered. Chris went to find water. He never came back. All we heard was his scream, cut short in a wet sound. I ran, left Darren in the tent, delirious. I followed the trail but kept ending up at the ranger shack. Only now it wasn't abandoned. The door was open, lights flickering inside. I stepped in. Inside, photos of us as kids covered the walls, playing, hiding, standing near Lila. Her face scratched out in every photo. There were ritual markings on the floor, dried wax, bone fragments. Someone had been living here, watching us for years. Darren was sitting in the corner. His eyes were black. He smiled at me. "We made a pact," he whispered, "to forget." But she didn't, and now we all remember. He lunged. I fought back. Something sharp cut me. I don't remember how I got out. I just ran until the sun came up and I found a road. A ranger picked me up. I told him everything. They never found Chris or Darren. The shack was empty. But sometimes, when I close my eyes, I hear her whisper, "You came back." And I swear, something's watching me still.